Dear followers of MUNED for Education and Development, we are very excited to have you this evening for the 14th edition of a MOC Perspective program. It is an interesting program. This evening, we shall be speaking with one of our father, who is one of the MOC person who settled in Buea as early back as 60s or so. He's going to tell us his story in Buea and his experience. We want to sincerely thank you for always being there with us, and we want to thank those who've been following our page and liking, sharing the information. I am Mr. Tiangong Rosta. My co-host is Mr. Njefie Wilson. I want to also appreciate the members of MUNED for Education and Development, those who are pushing the work from behind, and we are only executing it at the front line. So I want to appreciate, I want to encourage, I want to thank all the members of MUNED for Education, those who are in USA, those who are in Europe, and those who are here in Africa. So tonight I will be introducing our guest of the program this evening. Is Pa Asoboh Foryim. He's one of the MOC persons who settled here in those days. So today he will be telling us his story. We have a lot of questions that we are going to discuss here today with him. So we want to welcome you on board and take your seat. So Pa, good evening and welcome to this program.
Good evening.
Okay, so we thank our father. His name is Pa Asoboh Foryim. He's like I said, he settled here so many years ago. So Pa himself will be speaking to us. We want to plead with you that you can see Pa is an elderly man and he will only struggle to pass the message. So please be attentive to listening to what Pa is going to tell us this evening. So Pa, we learned that you are one of the MOC people. You are one of the MOC persons to settle in Buea. We are interested to know when you came and what.
I didn't come to Buea really for settlement.
Be audible a bit so that they can hear you.
I didn't come to Buea for settlement. I came there to work. Yes, I came there to work. And I was working with the judicial department. Then after that, I was transferred to Yaoundé and so on.
Okay, so we thank Pa. Pa said he came to Buea. He never came to Buea to settle here in Buea. He came here to work with he came here for work, and he finally found himself. He was transferred to Yaoundé. Pa, we want to know, can you tell us when was that?
In fact, I cannot exactly tell, but just I can think of about the 60s, 1960.
Okay, so Pa cannot return exactly when he came to Buea for the work and finally was transferred to Yaoundé, but he can only estimate that he came to Buea in the early 60s. So that was in the early 60s that Pa settled in Buea. So Pa has been in Buea for so many years. So that is the story of Pa. So Pa has been in Buea since 1960s to the present day. He has been in Buea and he has worked. He has gone to Yaoundé and retired back to Buea. So we want to know. It is interesting to know that you work with the civil service. Can you tell us, Pa? It is important for us to learn that you work with the civil service. Can you tell us your experience with working with the civil service in Cameroon?
Well, I cannot say that it was such a...
Probably audible a bit so that they can hear you.
Okay. I came to work in Buea as a typist. And when Thomas Ndoku came and saw the way I was typing, he was very amazed and then just said I should prepare and follow him. Let's go to Yaoundé. So I should be in Yaoundé and not here. So He gave me a day to prepare. I packed, and then we went to Yaoundé, and I was settled in Mr. Tabi of late.
Yes, Mr. Tabi, who used to be the governor.
He is the Minister of Justice.
Okay, the former Minister of Justice, who is of late.
Yes. So I worked with him and go to Paris to do more study. In fact, he was happy, and because I met some other person there who was not a workman, who was a Ibanyangian, who has been long enough in Yaoundé. So we were there, and then at the time, at some time, he felt that I should better go to Paris to in order to understand proper French better than what I was studying. So I took to Paris it was a question of 9 months. That I should go to Paris for 9 months. I went there, and Mr. Okang Stephen, who was all day with us. When I went, he was very anxious to go through, and so pressed buttons that I should return and let him so that he can be able to go through. And then I was called to come back in about 6 months' time instead of 9. And if you want to know more what I did in Paris, should I continue?
Yes, you can go. Go ahead, Pa. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. When I was in Paris, when we arrived there, we were 4 of us. 3 men from Minister of Foreign Affairs. That's the late, I've forgotten the name of the man, the man in charge, the minister who was in charge of that. So we moved together with those people. Then in Paris, we were interviewed, and then because where we were going to do the training was Besançon. So when we reached there, we were interviewed, and then they say the rest 3 people from the foreign affairs should go because they are starters in the French. And then my own, they said no, I have to remain in Paris because they find that I have enough knowledge of French. So I stayed there. And then since that my co-worker at home in the Ministry of Justice was interested to go to, he pressed buttons that they should call me back and let him go to. Then I was called back, and then that was around the 6th year set. Yeah. Then came and continue working. In fact, when I was there, I didn't want to come back empty-handed. That I've not achieved much in the French language. we were all going to learn with French. So as I was there, I have to go to many other places, like Strasbourg. Strasbourg, which is in the boundary of Britain and France. I have to go there when I hear that there was a course there for some short period. I ran there and did that. And then from there, whenever I hear that there's a course somewhere for the language, I always want to transfer from this to this and so on, until finally I went back home, as I said. And then back home now, in fact, back home, I continue work in the same judicial department from where I went out. And after some time, in fact, there's there is one man, Victor Tego. I don't know, I know him. Whether he's still alive, I don't know.
Okay.
So he was a trader based in Bamenda, and going to do his buy his things from France. He used to go from Bamenda to France and buy his things by road transport. To stock his store in Bamenda. Then as I came to know him, because he's also our native. Or I cannot say whether he's a native, he's a monk from the Fortang or from Bay, all that. So I followed him. We went to, I left Buea and went to Bamenda and meet him. And then we traveled down to Nigeria, yes. To Nigeria, we went to Nigeria, from where we used to buy his thing. If you are saying we're going to buy it, whether from France or so, it's a mistake.
Okay, so Pa is correcting that the person whom he met, who was a trader, was not trading with France, but rather with Nigeria.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Pa, for the correction.
So I asked him to let's go together. I followed him when we were going to Nigeria. I left Buea and then go and take up with him. When we went to Nigeria, and then he bought his stocks. There we separated. He went back again on road transport.
Road transport.
While from there, from where I just take through the sea to Victoria, which was then very short.
Okay. We thank Pa so much. He has elaborated his story, starting from when he came to Buea. Actually, he never came to Buea for work, but when he came to Buea, he finally got himself as at the Department of Civil Service, where he began as a typist, and from there he traveled to Yaoundé to work and went right up to France to do a course. And when he was in France, he did so many courses. Each time there is a course, Pa will do it, and he has analyzed to us that he even went as closer to London, where he did a lot of courses before he finally returned to Cameroon.
No, it was a town between Britain
and France.
Yes, Strasbourg.
Strasbourg. So Pa is saying that he even went right up to Strasbourg, which is very closer to London. So that is how Pa started his career as far back as 1960s. Worked here in Buea as a typist in the Department of Civil Service. Went right up to Yaoundé. He was there in Yaoundé working, and he went further to study. He went for further studies in France, and there he did a lot of courses before he finally returned to Cameroon. And in the light of that, he had people that took him also to Nigeria, and from there he continued his career until retirement. So Pa, we thank you so much. It's a great history that Pa is giving us for us to know. And now, Pa, there's something we want to learn from you. You actually came to Buea as a typist. You came to Buea not for work, but you found yourself to be a typist. How do you acquire the skills before becoming a typist?
Personal study in the house.
Wow.
Yes, personal study. Which I back here.
Okay, so Pa has given us his history. He said he came to Buea, and before coming, he has acquired skill in typewriting. It was a personal skill. He did it at home. He acquired it, and that took him to Buea. And because they saw the way he could do the job, he finally joined the Department of Civil Service, and that is how his career started. So Pa, we thank you so much, and for such initiative to have studied by yourself. And we want to know, do you acquire some education in Mo where you grew up?
It's up to standard 6, and I did not really pass the test to go ahead.
Okay, so Pa is saying that he acquired education in Mo up to the level of standard 6 where he did not continue. So Pa, can you give us a brief, can you still remember how education came to Mo?
How it came to is what you see, I can say that it came through a few people who have had some knowledge, say like late Pa Foryim.
We are sorry. Please welcome back on board. We are really sorry. We have network challenges. It's on and off, and we'll continue where we ended, and we pray that this time around the internet will be good. Like I was saying, Pa happened to give us a clear statement to clarify or to concur with the information that we received from late Pa Foryim. Because according to the information from late Pa Foryim, education came to Mogland through two persons, late Pa Asoboh Foryim and late Foryim Tindong. I can't actually remember, but the Foryim before Foryim Nangatie, these are the people who brought education to Mogland. They went to Chang in the year 1910, and they were why Pa Asoboh Foryim was schooling. Why Pa Asoboh Foryim was schooling, the other Foryim was he was cleaning glass at Chang, but when late Pa Asoboh Nkanglefak died, Fietso became the founder of the village and returned back to the village. And because they saw the importance of education in Chang in the year 1910, they had to plead with the Basel Mission Authority to come to the village and establish a school. And that school was established in Mo for some money in between late 930, that is late 930 and early 940. And that school actually saved a lot of people, and a lot of people did attended education in the village. And Pa is just confirming to say that people like late Pa Asoboh were the first people why they later follow up to participate in that particular school. So we thank Pa for giving a clarification to confirm what late Pa Asoboh told us in Kumba in the year 2008 before he died. He died later on. So with this, Pa, we want to know, when you came to Buea, were there already other more people there in Buea? Or you were the first More man to have come to Buea?
No, there was Abel Jungo. Abel Jungo was here there doing small trading. His trading was on dry fish.
The audible a bit so that they can hear you.
Okay. I say Mr. Abel Jungo was in Buea doing trading, and his trading was based on dry fish, that from Janga to Mululu and so on, in Janga to Mululu and really dry fish sometimes. So that's what it was based on.
Okay, but was he the only one? When you came in that 60, was he the only one?
He was. No, I cannot say that he was there with his wife. Later, I think it's not late.
Mami Alice Njongo.
Yes, yes, was there with Alice, and really.
Okay, so we are getting from Pa that he came in early 60s to settle here in Buea as a typist when he actually joined the civil service, and he met one mock man who was a late Pa Asoboh Foryim, and late Pa Asoboh Foryim was here in Buea with a wife, Mami Njongo Alice. And they were doing only petty trading like buying fish and selling and all of that. So Pa is happened to be the second moment to have come and he met them here in Buea. So we can understand that the history of the Mo people here in Buea started as far back as 60s when late Pa Asoboh Foryim, first of all, was the first Mo man to settle here in Buea. So Pa, we want to thank you for the history that you are giving us, revealing to us that late Pa Asoboh Foryim was the first Mo man to settle in Buea, while you later on came to join him. Yes, so it's something that we have taken note of that.
Yeah.
Pa, can you narrate to us the history of Mo people in 60s here in Buea? You met Pa Asoboh Foryim, and you happen to just be some two of you who were here in Buea, and how was life then?
The life was not bad because we cooperated much, and and made it that somebody's problem is for all. So and yes, like that, and then we also drag our children to come nearer with us whenever we were meeting and so on.
Wow. More people, I hope people are getting what Pa is telling us here, because actually the unity that exists among the Mo people, Pa is laying down the foundation today that it all started in 1960s. When they came in 60s, they all live here like Mo people, like brothers. A problem of one person was the problem of all. They went back to the village, brought in some other Mo people to join them here in Buea. So there is no doubt that why people see Mo people are so united here in Buea is because the foundation was well laid, and that is the path through which Mo people in Buea have been working upon. So we want to thank Pa so much for being one of the persons that came to Buea to show us the good path upon which we are working on today. So it's something that we have to congratulate our father here and late Pa Asoboh, because these were people that actually came. They had a lot of love among them, a lot of unity, that a problem of one person is a problem of all. And that is why we see the more people are so united in Buea. Because if you go to other towns around the world today, when you meet more people, they always refer Buea as a reference point where more people are so united. So Pa is making us to know that it all started in 60s when they joined themselves here from Mok village, and they never like say you are not my brother, because they knew themselves to be brother, but just the fact that they consider themselves to come from one village, the unity, everybody became so united. And when one person is facing a problem, all other people will consider it a problem of all. So exactly that, Pa, is that what you are saying?
Exactly.
So Pa is confirming. So we thank Pa so much, because it's something that is really worth noting. And more people, we want you to take note that what Pa labor for, and let Pa Asoboh, they labor for as many back as 60. We should always remember what they labor for, to have united the more people, to always make us think as brothers, to always make us know that a problem of one person is a problem of all. So we really want to thank Pa, because he has pinpointed this point, and we have to make sure that we always remember this fact. So Pa, we thank you so much for that particular point, and you've really given us how people live your life in 60s when people came, and it's really amazing.
Yeah.
So Pa has already answered one of the questions, the question of unity. Now Pa, we want to ask you this question. We have our meeting here in Buea, we call it Mok family meeting. And being one of the pioneer Mok person that set it in Buea as far back as 60s, we want you to tell us the history, how it all began, that you people finally created Mok meeting house here in Buea.
Yeah, when it came to my head that we should do that, I told Mr. Abel that I want also to join in my house for a family meeting. Or yes, but I saw that he was not happy. He said, now everything we have been doing in his own place, and when it comes to forming a meeting, and I say he should not be in his place, he's not happy. I just say, okay, then we can let the meeting continue in your house. And he was happy.
Okay. So, more people, I hope we are getting the origin of the meeting house here in Buea from Pa. So, Pa is really giving us a history of what transpired in the 60s. Pa, was it in the 60s that people created a meeting, or was some time later?
I think sometime later.
Okay, Pa cannot actually recall when the meeting was created, but he all know that he settled here in 60s, and he was the one that originated the idea of creating the Mok family meeting here in Buea. And because of that, not that Pa Abel was not happy with the idea, but rather Pa Abel felt that he was the first person to have settled in Buea, and he felt that that privilege should be given to him as the first Mok man to settle here in Buea. And Pa was a very understanding man. He understood with his brother, and the problem was settled amicably, and there was no problem. Pa brought the idea, and let Pa Abel said, the meeting ought to be in my place because I was there before you. And Pa quickly said, it's true, you are my brother, you came to Buea before me. And the meeting was finally taken to the house of late Pa Ebe, and it did not generate any problem at all. They continued to live their normal lifestyle of unity, of love and peace here in Buea until when late Pa Ebe died. So we want to thank Pa, because history is very important, and we must be able to know how things originated, how things grew up in life, because when we do not have facts, at one moment people will come in to be saying what it was not exact. I believe so much that Pa is giving us a revelation, and we, the more people here in Buea, we are getting the history, how the mock meeting started in Buea. And we want to thank Pa. This is one of the most important points that you are letting us know today. And Pa, we assure you that because we are documenting this information, people will come generation after to learn how mock meeting started in Buea. So we want to thank you so much for that. But today, based on your experience, you happen to have lived in the 60s, where people had the mock people that came in 60s, 70s, 80s. Now, if you are to give your own impression about the mock people, the young people that you are announcing them today are here in Buea, what would be your impression? The love that people have in 60, the peace and unity that people have in 60 that existed among the mock people in the 60s, is this still the same peace that people, is this still the same way that more people are relating among themselves here in Buea?
I cannot exactly say, because now that I became a bedridden, I don't go out, just stay lie on my bed and so on. I don't meet people. If we are not doing like this thing which you really wanted me, you will not see me until you come to my bed in the house. So what I can add is that concerning the education, as we are talking, it was lucky for Pa Foryim to be somebody whose father liked very much. And so, in fact, the father liked him so much that whenever he come for money, anything like money, he will ask all the women to bring, to collect what they have, what they have gathered, and then bring to him. Yes, and then he give him to go and study. In fact, why I didn't go further is because my father didn't feel going further or spending money. Spending money for a child to continue school. So it happened like that.
Wow, we thank Pastor, amazing. So we thank Pastor so much. Let me repeat what Pa have said, so that if you didn't hear where you get what Pa said so much. Pa is saying that he can't give a concrete, he's not in a position today to assess the situation that prevailed among the more people in the 60s and what is prevailing today, due to the fact that he is old and a little bit tired to move around, to meet people and to see what is happening today. His age has caught him and he is always at home and he can't actually do that. But he has gone back to rectify or add more flesh to one of the points that we have discussed, still coming back to the issue of education in Mogland, using our late father, late Pa Foryim, as one of the person whom we respect so much in the Mogland, because he's one of the person that acquired education and went far with education in Mogland. Our father is actually giving a revelation behind why he had to go that much. Our father is saying that late Pa Foryim was someone whom his father loved so much, and because his father loved him so much, each time when they will go for money, his own father will call other women and gather money from them and push him to go ahead. But he seated here, he loves education and would have gone that much far, but it was unfortunate for him. His own father was someone who did not have that knowledge to have pushed him to go far. So that is one of the reasons, or one of the points that limited his education. And with this, I think I will still come back to what I said much more earlier, because I said I was one of the person who was fortunate to have interviewed late Pa Foryim in Kumba in 2008, and he actually gave us the origin of education in Mogland. And late Pa Foryim, I'm still repeating what he said. He said the education came to Mogland through late His Royal Majesty Fozo Fietsu, who was the son of Fozo Kanglefak. And Fozo Kanglefak happened to have loved education and sent Fozo Fietsu to go and attend education in Chang in the early 910. And when late Fozo Fietsu was in Chang schooling, the father of late Pa Foryim, who was Foryim Tebuku, was there. He would follow his cousin, and they went to Chang all together because he loved Fozo Fietsu. So Moyu was his a cousin, and he had to follow him to Chang. While Fozo Fietsu became schooling in Chang, his own father, late Foryim Tebuku, became a laborer clearing glass under the German colonial masters. While he was doing that, he actually learned, and he loved education, though the opportunity was there because he was only a laborer. He loved education. When late Fozo Kanglefak traveled to meet the ancestors, Fozo Fietsu was withdrawn from school to come and take over from late Fozo Kanglefak. And when Fozo Fietsu returned back to his school, to the village, he has already acquired a little bit of education at Chang. And because his cousin, late Foryim Tindong Tebuku, he was there in Chang, his cousin has returned to the village. He could not continue to stay in Chang all alone, so he followed back his cousin and returned back to the village. When his cousin returned back to the village, the two of them who saw the importance of education at Chang as far back as early between 1910 and 1920, they became anxious of the fact that children had to go to education. And because of that fact, they went and begged the Basse Mission Authority to come to the village and establish a school, which they came to the village and they established the first a school in the village. And the children it was a vernacular school in which children were taught only Douala language. I am narrating the story that late Pa Foryim told me in Kumba in 2008 when we had an interview, when we had a chat with him, just like what we are having with our father today. And that is how education came to our land. And people like late Fozo Nzota had the opportunity to have attended that vernacular school and later on moved to other nearby villages like Bechati, and they acquired their primary education and later on move on to other places like Bali and even went right up to Nigeria. So Pa here is confirming exactly the word of late Pa Foryim to say that late Pa Foryim, his own father, loved education and did everything to push late Pa Foryim to acquire education. Just the fact that he saw the importance of education in Chang as far back as 1910, though he was only a laborer clearing glass under the German colonial master, he became conscious of the importance of education. But other people in the Mogland were not conscious until later on. So even his own father would have done the same thing to have pushed him to go to education that much far. But just the father, his father was not very much conscious as the father of a late Pa Foryim. His father didn't do well in that area to push him, and that is how he became lacking a bit. But Pa in all, he's not regretting the fact that he did not go that much far. But Pa is contented with what he has and the level of education. So Pa, we want to thank you very much, because this is a great history that people will come afterward to learn about it, to know how education started in Mogland, to know exactly who were the first people to have acquired that education. So Pa, we are very much grateful that you are here today educating us, the youth, about this particular fact, because most people will come later on and they will not know how education happened in those days. With this, Pa, do you have something to say?
No.
Okay, with this, I would like Pa to add more word to this aspect of education, because according to what our father is saying here, schools only started coming to our land but in late 50s, and because of that, today, when you go back to the village today, you have a lot of secondary school. We have 2 secondary school already. You have about 4 primary school already existing in the village. But with this, I want to say, what is your advice, taking into consideration that you people suffer a lot to acquire education, but today children are being given the opportunity to be right back home to acquire education? With this, what can you say? What advice can you give to the children back home? Because we have taken note that even some children with this golden opportunity that has been given to them to acquire education back home, many are not still making important of that of those schools that are back home. So what can you give to them as advice?
And my advice is that they should go to church. They should try to be Christian. Not only going to church only for going sake, but to go and be Christian and then pray that God should give them what is necessary for them, what they want. So I think that is what I really feel, that some of our people are not Christians because they don't know. So they should really go to church and become Christians, and then pray to God to give them what they need, and so on.
Okay. So we want to thank our father. Our father is saying that to him, he believes so much that even talking about education, children should first of all accept the aspect that they need God, and God will be the one to carry them to the level of education that they want. So our father is pleading with the youth back home that they should admit God in whatever they do, so that God can open up their way. And we want to thank our father for a fatherly advice that he is giving the youth who are there back home in the village, so that they should be able to hold God tight, and God will provide all what they need. But based on this that you've just said, it brings a question into my mind. Now, we've talked about, for certain now, more people know how education started in Mogland, based on the information given to us by late Pa Asoboh, and which is the information you are confirming here today. There is another aspect, Christianity. Do you have any knowledge how Christianity came to Mogland? Because we've known how education managed to find its ways to enter Mogland. What about Christianity?
About Christianity, I think few people who became Christian. Few people who became Christians followed from Bichati. When they go to Bichati for some occasions and so on, they see that Christianity was something which people from that area, that would be Chati and Bamboo and so on, that they are in. So it is a good thing for them to follow Christianity and then pray God to give them what they want always. Thank you.
Okay, so we thank our father. Our father is actually explaining the origin of Christianity in Mogland. It all started when, because of trading, our people would trade and go to land like Bichati for to do their trading. And when they went there, they found out Christianity has already it has gained ground in those neighboring villages like Bichati and the Bamembu. And when our people came, they too were anxious now to practice Christianity. And that is how Christianity finds its root into the Mogland. So we want to thank Pa because these are some of the information that we in this generation we might not know. We only know that the Presbyterian was the first missionary to have settled in our land, and they brought us the Presbyterian Church. But we don't know how it all came about. And today Pa is saying that even before the villagers they started actually being Christians, they have seen other neighboring villages already practicing Christianity. Pa, is that what you are saying?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so Pa is confirming that is how Christianity finds its way into Mogland. So we want to thank Pa because today we have a good knowledge of how education came into our land, and we have a good knowledge of how Christianity came into our land. Pa, still in this aspect of Christianity, there is something I want to find out from you. Now, there are people who say that in the days that Christianity came to the village, there was a lot of clashes between tradition and Christianity. People were actually, those who became Christians in the village were actually isolated so much from the community because people were just calling them, in our local language, we say, Brangchos, in our local language, and because of that, they faced a lot of persecution. Is that what transpired in the days that Christianity just gained ground into our land?
I think up to the time the Christianity came there, people were not being persecuted for being Christians. They have said that because of the neighboring villages which they saw Christianity, they were anxious also to be Christians.
Okay. So we thank our Father so much. We thank God that a network that interrupted, by the grace of God, we are able to have a perfect network now, and the program is going so well. So we want to thank God, and I also apologize that we started the program and the internet interruption. Internet was not very good, so we have to stop the program and restart it again. But by the grace of God, everything is going well. But what can you say about the value of more people in those days and the values of more people today? Is the way you put the values in those days, culture in those days, and comparing with the more culture today, is there any difference? Have culture lost its value, or is it still the culture is still, or the culture is still very powerful as compared to those days you saw cultures in those days?
Well, I already said that for years now I've not been going to the village, and so it's not possible for me really to say what is happening, how people like it, and so on. So I think that's just all.
Okay. So our Father is saying that he is not in a position, just like he earlier said, that he cannot give a perfect assessment about the unity of more people in the 60s and whether the same unity still exists today. Our Father here is saying that still in this area, he's not in a good position to assess whether the values or the culture and practices of more people in 70s, 60s as compared to the one of today, because he is an elderly man and he has not been going around he doesn't have the strength to move around to see what is happening today to compare it back to what happened in those days. So he cannot give what he doesn't have a perfect knowledge about that. So we want to thank Pa because Pa is a very sincere man. If you ask Pa a question that Pa has a knowledge about it, Pa is going to give just what he has. What Pa does not have knowledge about, he doesn't want to say what he does not know. So Pa, we thank you, and we know so much that this quality of sincerity and standard that you have today is because you studied in those days of the British, because these were people that respect standard. These were the people that they follow rules and all the rest. So we thank you so much We thank you so much about that.
Thank you.
As we are moving toward the end of the program, we want to ask Pa, apart from late Pa Ebenjongo that you mentioned here,
Yeah.
to be one of the mock person that you met in Buea in 60, because from what we learned from you, he was the first mock man to have settled in Buea, and later followed by you here in Buea, and later on other mock people made their way in. Can you briefly just cite some of the people that came, met you later, and then you people all join your hands together to create the mock meeting?
I can think of a few, like I can think of a few, like escaping my mind.
What about late Pa Zhang Zhongguo?
Yes.
Okay, so Pa is confirming that Pa late Zhang Zhongguo is one of the persons that came in later to meet them here in Buea. What about people like the Peter?
Yes.
Okay, so Pa is also confirming that people like late sorry, not late, he's still there. Sorry for using that word. People like the Peter is one. Those are the people that later on came, met them here in Buea, and they all joined their hands together and they created a mock meeting here in Buea. But these are some of the people. I think I am still a young man and I don't know so much about what transpired in those days. I don't know whether you can still remember some of the people that.
There's somebody I can remember, Fitsu, but I don't remember the other name.
Okay. So,
That is first we have talked of
late Pa Jogwo, and then later on you came, you met them. Later on people like late Pa Zhang Jongwo came in. People like the Peter came in, and you are calling one name Fietsu, but you cannot remember the other name.
Can't remember the other name.
Okay, as you can see, Pa is an elderly man and he's having a challenge of remembering some of those things that transpired in the 70s and 60s. It's been normal because of his age. And we want to thank him. If you could still remember, a lot of people of his own age have long gone, and God has kept him alive up to this moment. It is a privilege for us youth to still be with Pa today, to come and tap from his experience, his knowledge, and the grace that God has bestowed upon him. So we thank our Father so much. Pa, just like we are moving toward the end of the program, but I can't just leave you go without asking you this question. You grew up in the village like a village boy, as far back as in those days. Talking here about 50s, 60s, when you were in the village. Now, what can you tell us about life in the village in 50s? Were there roads? How do people live life? Where the life was, how did it look like?
It was very cordial. Very cordial. Say the people of all the mobs we can mention.
Moglete, Mogleliang, Mog for Simondi.
Yeah. They just knew themselves as mob, and in fact, if somebody had anything and somewhere, and then, or he met somebody somewhere, and then they say, who he doesn't know that he hear that he's from mob, No, he just jumped in without say he should explain to him which mosque and so on. If he knows that is from mosque, he say no. The mosque is our own area, and so you wouldn't get that go unnoticed. So I think.
Okay. We thank our Father so much. He has given us an insight of how life in the 50s, 60s, when we were growing up, was in Mok. Pa is saying that in the 50s, 60s, 70s, all the people of Mok Foryim, Mok Mbing, Mok Lete, and Mok Lilian, they know themselves just as Mok. The people were so united. They were one in their words. They didn't like differentiate. You are from this village, I'm from this village. They knew themselves like brothers. Wherever you go, when you see somebody from Mok Lete, when you see somebody from Mok Mbing, when you see somebody from Mok Lilian, you will just know that this person is from Mok land, and automatically is your brother. And you people just do things like brothers and sisters. There was no distinction of village, whether you are coming from which village and from which village. So that is how they lived their lives in the 60s. Pa is saying all of this to remind the youth and to remind the people of Mok about the love, the unity, and the strength that existed in the 60s that make all people from Mok to see themselves as brothers, sisters of one person. So Pa is bringing this up to give us a legacy. He's leaving a legacy for us to copy, to know that they themselves that lives in the 60s, they that live in the 50s, 60s, they did a lot to live in unity. And we the Mok people, regardless of whether you are from Mok Lete, regardless of whether you are from Mok Foryim, regardless from whether you are from Mok Mbing, regardless whether you are from Mok Lilian, you should always know that Mok man is a Mok man. And that is how they live in 60s. And he is giving an advice that we, the people of Mok, should continue in that habit. So we want to thank Pa because these are words of wisdom that more people might not have known, or the generation that was born in 80s or 90, 2000 may not know this fact that in as far back as 50, 60, there was nothing like Mok Lete, Mok Lilian, Mok Mbing, and Mok Foryim. Mok man was a Mok man, and they live in that unity, and that actually brought a lot of progress in the Mok land. So Pa is encouraging us, the youth, that we should see that that love return, the love that existed between Mok people. We should always see ourselves as one, regardless of whether you are from which village and which village and which village. So Pa, we want to thank you so much because it's a word you are saying is a capital statement that we need to put it, we need to underline it so that more people should know that statement. And wherever they do things, they should know that a Mok man is a Mok man, and there's nothing like Mok from here, Mok from here, Mok from here.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Pa. So Pa, as we are about to run up with the program tonight, what advice can you give to the younger generation? We are talking here about the youth of today. You happen to have lived your youthful life in 50s and 60s, and you know how things were done in those days. But at least today, you still see how young people are growing up. What would be a word of advice that you can give to the younger generation or the people born in this generation?
The people of now, I believe that if they can, they can perhaps see this thing, this book which you make, and then follow being together. That will be the best thing for the country or for the village or all those villages to grow well. So, I think.
Okay. We want to thank our father so much. Our viewers, please, if you have a question for Pa, please just type it on the comment section. I will read it and Pa will answer your question, because we do not have so much time again to spend. So please, if you have a question for Pa, please just type it in the comment section. But while waiting that you type your question in the comment section, I want to repeat what our father have said. Pa is saying that he has given his testimony. He has lived his testimony for us. He is saying that if we should listen to what he has said here, he has analyzed a lot of things, and also live in unity, not trying to split ourselves in the mobland by saying that this man is from this village, this man is from this village. It will give us a strength, and just like an Englishman will say that unity is strength. So Pa is saying that he's encouraging that same, he will encourage that same spirit that existed in the 50s, so that we should be able to live as one people. So Pa, our viewers are leaving some question in the comment section. Oh my God! It's like somebody pinned something on the board, and because of what is pinned on the board, the questions are not coming very clear. Somebody is asking Pa, please, what was the level of? But I can't finish reading it because the comment section. Somebody have pinned something on the board. Let me see whether it's possible for me to remove it. Unfortunately, somebody has pinned something on the board, and there is just no way that I can remove it. I've tried. It's not going so as to read the full question. It cannot go back. But from what I got from one of our viewers, they are saying that they can't just let you go without saying a word in the dialect. So
Merci à l'essayer oui. Nga pi nga shinglela TMG. So akapo nun zangan ba la ko ben no ko pi tra shinglela ndo la ndo shi me pi ni ba ilu nga ndo ma manzan nga inu as was my people so I love I'm sure we my pa the people to sing that more and Lord dictum me and Lord sing don't dictate so I will be a drop on top of both.
Okay, so Allah maybe you honor the Pa aga again anozanga amini tenga alu poe lo no la no software no so zen bebe ne chiem no me ngupom ye wan sang o no nen zanga go bi poe chi ninga menze amenze so be pa ga pe jo. Okay, please, you should wait up on pin so I can read the question now. Pa, please, what was the level of development of Buea town when you arrived Buea, and what were the challenges that you faced? So somebody is asking that when you first came to Buea, in those days, we can see Buea is now a city. But in those days where people came in the 50s, 60s, 70s, how was Buea at that particular town? And what was the level of development in that part? That is the question that one of the viewers is asking the question.
The Buea at the time was a very small place, and all right. It looked like it was a very small place and bushy. But now, many hands, many people who are flocking in have tried to remove any dirt from wherever it is, and then make the any piece of any place like land useful. So I think Buea is now better. Yeah.
Okay. So we've heard from our father. He has explained that when they came to Buea, in those days, Buea is not what it is today. Buea was just a small place. It was bushy, and over time, by the grace of God, we have grown up to be a very big city, very neat, because everybody is doing one or two things on its own to make sure that the town is neat, and the town has expanded as compared to what they made. It was just a small place, but now Buea is a very big city. So Pa has given us what he saw in the 70s, 60s, and what he knows as Buea today to have been a total different places. So we want to thank our father for clarifying us how Buea used to be. And unfortunately, we cannot have a picture of Buea in those days. So maybe if we could, maybe when coming, if we knew, we would have asked Pa to put some of those pictures. If you can lay a picture of Pa in the early as in those days, maybe our viewers will want to see Pa when Pa was young, and our father here is an elder man. He has already grown so old, and that he used to be a very young, vibrant man. He started his career here in Buea. He went right up to Yaoundé. He went right up to Paris in France. He went to several places. He have lived in Nigeria, and Papa here at his age, Pa has a lot of experience. So viewers, just be patient for a while. While they are bringing some photos of Pa. We will see Pa when Pa was at his youthful age, and exactly how Pa used to look like, and probably we hope to see some photos of Buea in those days, so that we can have an experience of how Buea used to look like. It has been a wonderful discovery talking with our Pa. His name is Pa Asoboh Foryim, or Pa is commonly known as Nkweteyim Thomas. So if you don't want to call Pa as Asoboh Foryim, you call him as Nkweteyim Thomas. So we thank Pa so much. It has been a great experience for us to come and talk with our father, document his experience, and we thank him so much, and the grace of God has been upon his life up to this moment. Pa is still very strong, have a very good retentive memory. He can remember all the things that he did at his youthful age, starting from when he came to Buea as a young man. Though he never came for work, but because he has some skill in typeist, is what ended his life, and that is how Pa left. Later on, moved to Yaoundé. He worked in Yaoundé, went right up to Paris, and returned. He settled in Bamenda. He went to Bamenda. Later on, went to Nigeria, and then came back here in Buea, and he has been here in Buea enjoying his retirement till now. So please, viewer, just be patient. We are taking some photos of our father. Please bring this is, I don't know, I believe our viewers, please, can you see the photo of our father? Good. This is the photo of our father, Pa Nkweteyim Thomas. You can see him you can see Pa. Here he was just getting into his old age, but he was still looking very young and healthy and strong. So that is his photo. You can see our father, and there are many other photos. This is, you can see behind there. If you cannot see, I will read. This is 1975. So this is a photo of our father. This is our father at this extreme. You can see our father in 1975. These are archives of our father 1975, as you can see them. That is our father Pa, can you remember the people you were here with them? Can you remember these people?
George Mopa and the wife Alice Mopa.
Yes.
Okay.
George
Okay.
Mopa. Late George.
Okay. Pa is saying the person you see here, the name is Pa late Mopa George. She's of late, and this is the wife here.
This is the wife.
Okay, this is the wife.
This is Papa's wife.
Okay, this is Papa's wife. This is Papa here, and then this is the wife of Papa, and this is late Pa Mopa George and the wife this way. So you can see him. Okay, let me show you the bigger one. It's the same photo. Please look at it very well. If you look at it very well, this is Pa. This is Pa at the extreme here, and this is the wife of Pa this way, and then this is Pa late Mopa George, and then this is the wife. As you can see here, Alice, Ma Alice. So you can see here, these are photographs of 75. Sorry. So this was taken in 1975 when our father was at his youthful age. Can see our father. So please, talking with our father has been a
mock meeting, 21st June 1977.
Okay, this is mock meeting. The photo we are having here is mock meeting in 1977. Mock meeting in 1977 here in Buea. Here in Buea, with children. Children are all mixed there. So these are some of the archives that our father is keeping here, that the more people can make use of it. 1977, the mock meeting that we are talking about, that Pa told us to be the person who originated the idea, and our late father. The meeting started in the house of our late father, Pa Abenjongwo, here in Buea, and they always live in unity. You can see here, this is the unity that our father has been talking about. You can see the more people here in 1977, all standing together in a united with children and their parents. So we thank our father so much for preserving such an archives. These are archives that will remain forever, and we are thanking our father.
1975, still the meeting.
Okay, this is still another photo. Viewers, this is still another photo of the more people here. Now, still the same year. This one is 1975. The one I show you was 1977. This is much more earlier, 2 years before the one that I just showed you. This is 1975. You can see the more people here, or more family meeting here in Buea as far back as 1975. They all sat together in a united manner, love and peace. So we want to thank our father. He's keeping all of this as archives, so that we should know, more people should come afterward to know how united Hmong has always been. All those who came to Buea in those days, how they have lived together, and his Pa is giving us advice that same love, that same peace that they created in many years back, it should remain. So we, the youthful generation that we are coming today, we should always remember that Pa and the other brothers that came to Buea lay a foundation of peace, and we should always work upon that foundation of peace. Thank you very much.
1972.
Okay, the one I'm having here, right here with me, is Pa photo. It's in 1972. Can see here, this one is 1972. Can see these are more people here in Buea in 1970. More children here in Buea in 19. The people and their children, they are all together. More people and the children, they are all together in 1972. So you can see the more people here, the family, more people, they gather here in 1972 of what have become what we call more family meeting here in Buea. As far back as 1972, you can see them. They were there, love, peace, joy, all sitting together, fellowshipping with one another, loving themselves, and all satisfied and proud to be more people. So we want to thank Pa. Pa has a lot of archives here in his house, that have been preserved from 1972 to this day. Some are dating back even 1960s. The archives are there. So we, the people of MUNED, we can see Pa is a living library for us to exploit. And it is for this reason that MUNED Network for Education and Development have chosen to meet Pa so that we discuss some of these things, so that we, the MUNED people, together we should know the foundation that our people left for us. This is a legacy that Pa is giving us. We, the MUNED people, that we should know how to love one another, to live in peace, and to live in unity. So thank you very much. Other photos are coming. I will show you.
His birthday in Buea town. More children are there. Birthday in 1974.
You can see this is 1974.
Birthday party.
Birthday party of MUNED people here, 1974. As far back as 1974. This is a birthday party of MUNED people. They were all them enjoying themselves, living in unity, loving one another as far back as 1974. So this is coming to let us know how Pa has spoken very well, how they started the first pioneer MUNED people to have settled in Buea came here as far back as 60s, and they have been here. Pa have given us that the first pioneer MUNED man to have settled in Buea was late Pa Asoboh Foryim, who came to Buea, and he later on followed him, and people like Ndifota Zepita, people like late Pa Jean Jongwo later on follow them. They all came and they have been in Buea here enjoying life, and this is what Pa is having as a testimony to testify of what they did to MUNED people, the unity, the seed of unity, the seed of peace, and the seed of many other things that they have planted. And it is for us, the people of MUNED, to water that seed to grow. Pa has already done his best. They have sowed a good seed, and they are encouraging the MUNED people to move on. They are encouraging the MUNED people to come. So with this, please, there are other photos that are still coming. There are other photos that are still coming. But if you have a question, please put it at the comment section so that I will read it and Pa will answer other questions. Why they are bringing more photos for us to show. Okay. There is a MUNED. If any person want to partner with MUNED, any person want to support the great initiative of what MUNED Network for Education and Development is doing, please, there is a number that is there on the board. We want to thank Ndinkemezo Nixon, who is on board, and many other people that are following us live on board. We want to thank you for joining us. This is our father, Pa Asoboh Thomas. We are discussing with him. He live here in his house, here in Buea. We have come to have a chat with him because he's one of the pioneer MUNED persons to have settled in Buea, and we want to tap from his experience. We want to know how, when they came to Buea, how they lived their lives here in Buea as far back as in those days. We have equally have our email address that is on board. Please, if you want to contact MUNED Network for Education and Development for any support morally, for any support financially, for any support psychologically, any support that you can give us, please. Our email is on the board. We can see our father. This is Pa here, right? Okay. Please, for those who want to take a look at our Pa in his youthful age, this is our father here. The year cannot be traced. We cannot trace the year that this photo was taken, but this is our father this way. Here you can see our father when our father was still at his very youthful and vibrant age. You can see our father there. So that is our father. You can see him standing there in those days with the attires of those days, looking very, very, very nice and good. So we want to thank you all for being there to review the archives of our father, Pa Asoboh Thomas. He's here with us, he's live here with us, and we are reviewing some of his archives so that we, the MUNED people, we should know the foundation upon which some people work upon, so that we should not come afterward to destroy what people have labored for so many years to put in place. So with this, I think we have reviewed a lot of archives of Pa. These are them here with me. These are archives of Pa. These are archives of Pa. These are archives of Pa, having some nice photos that were taken in the 60s. showing unity among the Mok people and love that existed among the Mok people. So that is our father. You can see him right there. You can see him right there. So we want to thank you. We want to thank you so much. We want to thank you so much. As we wrap up with the program of today, we want to sincerely thank our followers that have been here with us, following us live. Next Saturday, we shall be having another good interview with one of our father, who is also, okay, we will be discussing with our mother, who is also an elderly mother of above 90 years. So our mother is going to share the experience, and after that we are going to have another interview again with one of our father, who is Ndifo Fietsu. We are going to be interviewing him much more later for him to throw more light on the history of Mok people and to add more flesh to what our father here have just said. This is a process. We are documenting information about the Mok people because in the past all our information are oral, and we've met Pa today so that Pa could share some of his experiences and some of his past life, so that we'll put it into document, so that for so many years after, people will come to see what other people labor for, how they did work here in those days, and to what are the output or the product of what they labor for. So we want to sincerely thank you for being there with us. This is MUNED Network for Education and Development. Our goal is to promote the development of Mok land through research and publication. So before we go, I want to give Pa the opportunity to say one last word to our viewers. Pa, just say one very last word to our viewers, people who are following you live on board.
Having seen what I've shown you people, please, you people should kindly follow up and then let the development of the village continue and even better. Bye.
All right, our father has given his very last word. He's encouraging those who are there. He has done his own part, and by the grace of God, he's only sitting to watch the people who are actors today to see what they can do to better the development of Mok land. Pa has given a word of advice where he labored and ended. He's expecting the youth and those of us who are youth today to take the process further. So we want to thank you, our father. We want to thank you so much. It has been a great pleasure for us to meet you, to have reviewed all the information that you have shown us. It has been documented, and MUNED and the Mok people, the entire world will forever remember you, and the nation Cameroon will remember you for the services that you render for this nation for so many years. Thank you very much.
Thank you, God.
Okay. So, dear followers, until next Saturday we are going to meet. We thank you so much for being there with us. This has been MUNED Network for Education and Development. My name is Mr. Tiangum Rostam. My co-host is Mr. Njefie Wilson. And we want to thank all the members of MUNED Network for Education and Development. And above all, thank you who have been on board, following us, listening to us, commenting, liking our page, and sharing all the information in there. We thank you very much, and until next Saturday shall we meet. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.